Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. The more I think about it, I think I'm elated with this earnings call. Elon and the Tesla team are absolutely incredible. These are the best in the world at what they do. And I'm getting the impression that it has been seriously tough to achieve where they are today, let alone where they're still headed. I'm still going through what was said, but more importantly, also what wasn't said. Things were said in other contexts that can be extrapolated into spreadsheets, and math can be done to calculate ways of drawing more inferences from other items. We were told now that the 4680 batteries will not constrain ramping up for the new factories due to suppliers ramping up as they're doubling their output for next year compared to this year. Model Y Shanghai was at half capacity within just 3 months, at 10,000 units a month. If you remove COVID from the Model 3 factory in Shanghai, then that wasn't too far off either. This is really all we have to go on as to the speed at which Tesla can ramp up. We were told that the new factories would have limited Model Y production this year. And although we weren't told the capacity of the factories, Elon did say it is possible to reach 100% more growth for vehicle deliveries next year than this year. If we see 900,000 units this year, then 100% growth is an additional 900,000 units. If even 100,000 of that is from the existing factories, Elon has basically told us 800,000 units is possible from Berlin and Texas next year. Okay, just to be clear, I am not saying we are expecting 100% growth for next year. I'm saying that it is possible. And if it did occur, around 800,000 would be from the new factories. Now this implies that it is physically possible for these factories to do 800,000 units. So if from both new factories Tesla are collectively producing 10,000 units a month in January 2022, and according to Elon, that 800,000 units is possible from these factories next year, well, if you grow the production by a consistent 31% month over month, then from that 10,000 in January, you reach 195,000 in December. And when you add all the months up, you come to just about 800,000 for the year. We also see that around March, we're almost at the 20,000 level, which is about 10,000 in 3 months per factory, same as Model 3 Shanghai and same as Model Y Shanghai. I repeat, 195,000 in December. Now, when you scale that up, it comes to about 2.34 million units annually, or 1.2 million per factory, or maybe 1.3 million from Texas and 1 million from Berlin. Most people seem to be saying around 1 million capacity. Some are even saying 500,000. Well, it looks like this will exceed 1 million per factory at these rates. But is it likely they're fully ramped up by the end of the year even? I think their ramp up will depend mostly on 4680 success. Not to mention when that is achieved, how much it will speed up the production and thus capacity further. At 2.3 million capacity, I think when my head stops spinning, I might make another video to calculate what that means to the stock and revenue. But wait, the Cybertruck. Well, they're going to need to be around 500,000 capacity for that car alone. But they won't be able to ramp it up so quick. Partly because it's completely dependent on 4680 batteries. So what if there's still another 300,000 units to ramp up from Cybertruck from next year? Remember, I'm going with Elon's numbers here, saying 100% is possible next year. It's irrelevant whether it's likely. It's all about what's possible, as in what is the capacity. If there was only even 10% more ramping up from the Model Ys in 2023, and then you add that additional 300,000 Cybertrucks, then we're at a capacity of nearly 3 million units. And then, when you include Fremont and Shanghai, we're at 4 million units. What about batteries? Well, it sounds like the battery capacity is going to double from their suppliers next year, plus perhaps 30 to 50 gigawatt hours in-house. So 1.8 million is easily possible next year as far as batteries are concerned. Then at the start of 2023, we expect 4680s to be at an annualized rate of 100 gigawatt hours already, which means we would expect 150 to 200 gigawatt hours of 4680 batteries for 2023. In other words, there'd be enough batteries for 4 million cars if Tesla could produce that many. Look people, this is over 4 times what Tesla are doing this year, or 5 times the level of the recent Q2. 5 times. But remember, the overheads will be significantly lower. All those OPEX costs will not rise at the same proportion as the revenue, neither stock-based compensation. Not to mention that, obviously profit margins will rise significantly too, as costs reduce and more economies of scale kick in. Well, even 5 times the profit of this quarter would be in excess of 25 billion annual net profit. If you use a PE ratio of 28, then you hit today's value. Of course, we aren't including FSD or the energy business here either. Not to mention the fact that Tesla still have about 8 times further to grow the auto business from 2023. Oh, and of course, we would expect the profits to be much higher due to less relative expenses. Is it me, or is this stock still a bargain? Are we going to look back in 5 years and reflect back on this? The fact that you could buy Tesla shares in the 600s? Sometimes I try to visualize myself in the future and use hindsight, like, what was I thinking? I might say to myself, how could I have not bought more shares? It was obvious how big they were going to be. This can help to put things in perspective and make sure I do the right thing. Then, of course, you go to your trading account and you see it's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars to buy some leaps, and it becomes a lot harder to press that buy button. Anyway, it looks possible that these new factories alone could quadruple Tesla's capacity and production. I mean, am I missing something? I don't seem to hear anyone else discussing this. I think possibly, partly they think it's cool to be conservative. You don't want to look too enthusiastic like a fanboy, and you don't want to say stupid numbers, because then people will think you're crazy and you will lose credibility. Oh well, so be it. I'd rather be rich than conservative. I'm happy to throw myself out there and report what I see. Yes, it is unbelievable, but that doesn't mean it's not statistically likely. You have to go against the madness of crowds sometimes, and of course go against what the mainstream media tells you too. Don't forget, we hear that the eventual capacity for the batteries are 250 gigawatt hours. And I have heard other people speculate that the vehicle capacity might be close to 2 million. Well, I'm inclined to start agreeing with them now. This really has blown my mind. And Tesla have their backup plan to start ramping up immediately too. To be honest, I was a little concerned as to what would happen with these factories, as there were not enough signs of 4680 battery production happening, but that has been resolved with their suppliers doubling their output. Okay, this is really all subject to chip supply now, but it sounds like that is improving, and we are talking about by next year, and it may not be as much an issue then, and then the year after. To be honest, I know it's massive, but I would like Tesla to have their own chip factory, and it's not something Elon's ruled out. I think they will inevitably go ahead with one, as I also think they'll open up FSD to everyone too. Using Elon's word, it would be unconscionable for them not to open up FSD. If Tesla can make a car 1 to 200% safer with FSD, then that would save around half to 2/3 of all car fatalities that had FSD. I've never been this bullish. We got so much great information. I'm going to try and purchase some more leaps now too. I don't have enough cash, so I'm going to have to sell some shares to get them. Hang on though, because we have more information too. Now, if Tesla are at a run rate of 200,000 a month for Berlin and Texas by the start of 2023, and likely Shanghai and Fremont at 100,000 a month, well, that's a monthly capacity of 300,000, or 3.6 million for 2023. Does anyone else think that Elon might still be sandbagging us? That is another 100% growth year over year. This could be inferred as Tesla have enough capacity for 100% year-over-year growth for 2021, 2022, and 2023. Of course, by 2023, we'd also be expecting a Model 2 factory, and I would expect that to again double production once ramped. I like to refer to Cathie Wood and Elon's tweet about what is possible by 2025. 30 million EVs? Possible, but unlikely. 30 million by 2026? Maybe. And 2027? For sure. Well, I'm saying that at this rate, we're at 3.6 million by 2023. Double that with Model 2 factory ramped up, and we're at 7.2 million by perhaps 2024 to 2025. Okay, this tweet was referring to the entire EV industry, but if Tesla are growing this fast, then I think their market share should be about 1/3, implying 10 million cars for Tesla. So that could actually all line up. Okay, so to summarize, it looks like all these new factories easily have 1 million capacity, which is what most people say, but quite possibly twice that, which is something that has also been said in the past. Oh, and can you just imagine what the Model 2 factory would be like? Well, if these are doing 2 million each, or perhaps 4 million total per year, then wouldn't the Model 2 factory be significantly larger than that? I used to think 5 million cars a year, but maybe more, or perhaps multiple 5 million capacity factories. Elon has also said that the Model Y will surpass 2 million sales a year, but is it possible they can make 4 million a year? Well, perhaps these factories might end up with lines of other vehicles too. Well, obviously Texas will have the Cybertruck, but What if they also make Model 3s there too? Or is it more sandbagging? And that Model Y demand might actually be more like 4 million units a year? Or what if a Model Y only costs $40,000 with a range of 300 miles? With new features adding further value? I mean, we're talking about a few years' time. It is highly possible Tesla can reach that price point, and probably still do it with 30% margin, excluding FSD. Oh right, yes, FSD. When that's cracked, well, that will spur demand to an insane level. It's no longer an electric car, it's a self-driving car. And everyone will want FSD. Okay, I may have been swept into all the excitement, but right now, I am feeling the most optimistic about Tesla than I ever have before. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.